14 states and district that have it. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions from the committee? Senator Essman.
Mr. Chairman, a question for Mr. Rosenfeld.
Oh, was it me?
Yes, Irvin.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Sir, you know what we've heard. To me, this really turns around the question of legitimizing it in the eyes of young people in the state. You know, that's who we heard passionately from, is their parents. And you talked about the fact that, and there were other opponents to the bill that talked about, well, this is a parental issue. Parents need to deal with it. And you talked about your experience in dealing with your nieces and nephews with respect to your use in Florida.
No, I was in Virginia at the time.
At that time.
Yes, Southern Virginia.
Okay. At that time, so you had a personal relationship in terms of that use of that product.
Right. I mean, they were around me when I was taking my medicine because I smoked 10 to 12 per day.
My question, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Rosenfeld, did you have to do that against a backdrop of storefronts?
Oh, not at all. No.
So you were in a position then where it was, you were able to train your nieces and nephews, but you did not have any legal, apparently legal sale of marijuana, sending a counter message to the children that you were involved with.
No, I was not, and that is a concern for all of us patients. Okay, all of us real patients is a concern. Okay, and storefronts may not be the way to go. Okay, that might potentially be the way. I mean, you know, as the longest surviving federal patient, I go to a pharmacy and I pick up my medicine. Okay, so now can it get to be that way in a state? Yeah, you could do something like that. Doesn't necessarily have to be a pharmacy because pharmacists don't have the educations either. Really, the people that are growing it have the best education on what the best strains are and what's best for patients. And I feel like also that if there's a patient in the state that there should have to be records kept. Meaning that patient, wherever they're getting their medicine, like myself, I'd be 58-year-old white male, severe bone disorder, uses purple haze for muscle relaxant, another strain for sleeping, another strain for this, and that's the records that should have to be kept. And those records should be able to be shared by the entire state. So if you've got one area that's growing, has a good strain for epilepsy, and you've got another person down here with the cooperative or whatever, however you do it, whether it's state control, whether it's whatever it's run, then they go, well, that works well. I need that for my patients down here. Well, in Montana, unlike other states, the people work together. The Montana Medical Growers Association work together.
Mr. Chairman, he's way off the question I asked, which was, did you have to teach your children against a backdrop that sent a counter message? And I believe your answer was no. Thank you.
No, I did not. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, a question for Mr. Zabawa.
Senator Essman.
Hello.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Zabawa, we heard a lot of testimony from opponents to the repeal bill that this was adopted by 62% of Montanans in a vote 4 years ago and shouldn't be touched otherwise. Do you have you done any work or have any evidence that perhaps the people of the state of Montana are having second thoughts about that decision?
Well, I kept hearing similar things to that, and so Safe Community, Safe Kids said, let's put it back out there to 400 Montanans across all demographics and across all media markets and find out what they're really thinking. And this is as of March 2nd and 3rd, and you should have one of these in your packets there. It's been handed out to you. But what came out of it was, the first thing was that negatively impacted in all markets was over 53% of the people said we're heavily negatively impacted. 16% said it was a positive effect medical marijuana had on the Montana. Anybody with parents or children in schools that were in that risk zone, 12 to 20-year-olds, they were as high as 70% negatively impacted and felt very that something needed to be done. And then And it didn't matter what age group that you were, that was an issue also. Now, in the talking about the initiative that you're asking, there's one of the questions asked that, and it was real interesting. So the people that supported repeal, which was 53% of the people that were taken in the poll, supported it. 87% of them said they didn't care if it was a voter initiative or a legislative initiative, they wanted it repealed. So I thought that was probably, out of all the things that came out of this, people feel very strongly that their communities have been impacted, and they don't care how you get it out of there, let's get it done. That's what came out of this particular poll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.